All right, y'all, welcome to Alchemist Knits episode 6. I'm Kelsey, and today is probably going to be a bit of a long one. It might be a bit of a chatty one. We'll see. So, we're going to start off with what I'm wearing. We're going to go through finished objects. We're going to go through works in progress. We're going to go through things I've spun, and then we're going to talk a little bit about acquisitions and ideas for future projects. So, let's start off with what I'm wearing. This is, I'm calling it the pumpkin pullover. It is based off of, let me show you. It is based off of something that I found on Pinterest. That was probably AI, but I decided I wanted to make it a reality. So it's this pumpkin thing here. It's got like a smile, you can see. So it's curved up like this, and then curves back down here to match. And it's just held together with chain, old chain stitch sort of thing, doing little X's across. And then we have this little guy sewed on here. So, starting off for this one, I used Andrea Mowry's Weekender pattern. That pattern has worked bottom up. I wanted mine to be top down, but I liked the look of the drop shoulder, and I liked the look of the ribbing up top. So I figured out what size I was, what size I wanted to work, and then I reverse engineered it and went to the bottom of the pattern to figure out what was happening up here. I added in a crew neck here. In the pattern, it's more of a boat neck, so it goes straight across. I wanted a crew neck, so I did that shaping. We had the half and half stuff going on here. It is, let me tell you real quick, actually, this is Yarn Bee Soft and Sleek DK. And is it Pumpkin? Pumpkin Paradise and Black. And then both of them are held together with this dark red mohair throughout the whole thing. So that's the yarn that I used for it. What else? So we worked it down and then we split front and back, did decreases. So as you can see here, we started here, we bound off, and then we were slowly doing decreases to form this here, bound off, and then we cast on the same number of stitches that we bound off down here, and then increased at the same rate, and then worked it. You can't see it from here. I'm not tall enough. And then worked it, did twisted rib at the bottom, and then we added sleeves. And these have thumb holes, because why not? Twisted rib also for the cuffs, and then picked up here and did a little bit of twisted rib for the collar. And called it a day. So I took some really trash notes that's just super basic skeleton numbers so that if I wanted to make it again, I could. And all those notes are on my Ravelry page. So I might make this again. I've been thinking about, I wore this for Halloween. It was fun. This was my Halloween outfit, was my pumpkin sweater. And I loved it. I felt great in it. It's got a lot of positive ease. Very comfortable. I kind of want to make another one in either black and I think it's Dijon yellow, or like a gray, a mid-gray in the Dijon yellow in this same yarn. So we'll see. I'm thinking about it. I might just put this one in my shop because I've only worn it the one time. I guess this would be the second time. So wash it, put it in my shop, see if anyone wants it because it's fun. Orange isn't necessarily my color. And I feel like somebody else might wear it more than I would, and I'd like to make this again in a color that I would be more drawn towards. But I love the fit of the sweater, so I'm really glad that I took notes on how I made it. So that's what I'm wearing right now. That's my first finished object. My next finished object, let's check the list. Oh, is something from my old works in progress. These are the elf slippers. And I say finished and there's threads. Don't look at those. I just got to weave in the ends real quick. All I had left was the I-cord edging around one of them. So I whipped that out one night, finished it up, and they're done now. I can wear them. Hooray. Add it to my list of finished objects. So finish that up. That's from the 52 Weeks of Socks book. This is the second pair I've made, I think. I made a pair for my mom out of some Handspun from her sheep, and then made these for me. So hooray! Next we have, oh, that one's in the other room. Hold on a second, I'll go get it. All right, we're back. This is the Halloween Party Cowl by Stephanie Lotvin. This, I joined her mystery knit along last year and made, it's the same shape of cowl. So that's what we're dealing with here. And it goes on over your head. I made the one from last year and I loved it. And so I joined in with this year's one. So she releases a clue from October 1st to October 13th. So there's 13 clues in all. And each section is a clue. So there are 13 sections here in total. So we've got cute little skeletons. We got cats. I don't know if they're holding pumpkins, but it looks like they're wearing pumpkins. And then we've got little ghosts with pumpkins and then a little lace border. Beautiful. So that's beautiful. I love it. It's up in my Alchemist Knit shop on Etsy. So if it speaks to your soul, it is machine washable. So yeah, if you like it, go check it out. I'll leave a link to that as well, but that's my next finished object. Hooray. Right before Halloween. I finished this the day before Halloween and the cowl on Halloween. So, whew. Next we have coffee with oat milk. Cheers. Next we have the Fit Knit bralette. This was kind of just a random cast on. Like, I bought the pattern one night, was like, this would be really cool for yoga to have just like a knitted bralette that I made myself. And so I just banged it out in a few days. It's really cute. Is there a good way to show this? It's racer back. There's still strings everywhere because I need to lengthen the straps by like 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches, because it pulls up too much. Obviously, I'm not going to show me wearing this because this is for yoga and it would be indecent and we don't do that on this channel. So look at this pretty lace here. This is the front. Also, so the band around the bottom is fits perfectly. The top part though, it doesn't, I don't think I need to size up for it. I think I just need to add more rows because it feels like it's not tall enough to go over everything, but it's wide enough, if that makes sense. So the way the pattern works is you do a bunch of increases here and then you decrease. So hopefully you can see that. So I'm thinking in between those sections, I just need to add more rows. And maybe I'll just, I don't know if it's going to ruin the design in the middle to just have like stockinette rows in the middle, because I already increased it by a couple rows. So it's supposed to just go in and go back out. This is a little bit like taller. So I added in an additional repeat of that last one before I started increasing again. So do I just start? I need to troubleshoot how to add more rows in the middle of this part and make another one. I think I'd like to make another one in this same yarn because it's really soft, it's really comfortable, and I think it would just be great for yoga in general. So that was just, I cast it on, cast it off within a few days, like a very, very quick one. So hooray, almost done with that. I need to finish up the straps, take it out and redo the straps, but otherwise finished. So that is all the finished objects, I think, for this week. Pretty simple. And that bralette was by Amimonology. Not very easy to say, but a cool looking word. Let's move on to works in progress. The first one that we're going to talk about, this one is going to be a little bit chatty. So, this is one that I have had sitting on the needles for a little bit. Okay, in February of 2024, so a year and a half ago, I started this. This was for a test knit that I was doing for someone. So this one's really cropped. But it's got, so it's, you start at the bottom, it's a pieced sweater, and then it has these really cool strands that you weave through it, and it goes up and back on the other side. It's just a really cool idea of like weaving it in there. So I was doing this test knit for somebody, and this was going to be my version. The idea is that it's slightly cropped, but it has full length sleeves. And so we got to about 3/4 the way through the test, and throughout the test, I didn't really feel like the tester was responding to me a whole lot. Like, they wouldn't really respond to questions or feedback unless somebody else also echoed what I was saying, and then they would respond. So not super responsive. And then somebody joined the test, I think a bit later, about like, I think it was like halfway or 3/4 the way through, and was like, hey, the way that this pattern's working up doesn't look like the picture that you have of your sweater. Is the stitch pattern wrong? Or are we supposed to be doing it this way? And the designer's like, oh, yes, I messed that up. So the entire stitch pattern is wrong. And some other testers and I were like, well, we're most of the way done with our sweater. Like, I had the front and the back already done. All I needed was the sleeves. And so we're like, what do you want us to do? Do you just want us to finish these up and then like pretend that it's all good? Or like, do you want us to start over? And they're like, yeah, I'd like you to start over. The entire thing, I'd like you to start it over. So we did. I ended up going with just the smallest size because I'm like, I don't have time to remake my size with the time that we have left. So I did. I made another version. I finished it, blocked it, took pictures, you know, gave the feedback, put it on Instagram, tagged them on Instagram. They never commented on it. They never liked it. I put like 2 videos up of it. They didn't respond, like, comment or like either one of them. So a very strange experience. It was probably, like, it's not like a horrible testing experience, but it was the worst one I've ever had because of just the non-responsiveness during the test, and then like pretty much ignoring me once the project was done, and like not acknowledging like the thing that I had made, not even liking it on Instagram. So it was just a very weird experience to me. And so even though I was super excited about this one, I put it aside to work on the other one so that I could do it right. And I never really picked it up since then because it was just, it wasn't a great experience. So now I'm picking it back up because I've decided what I want to do. I'm not going to do the full sleeves. I'm just going to do a twisted rib, just like a little cuff there, because this is really oversized. And so the way it's going to fall is like almost to my elbow, a little bit above my elbow because of the drop shoulder effect. And I love the way that like it looks. I actually prefer the way that this looks more than the updated version. I like the wrong stitch pattern more. So all I need to do for this is finish up this sleeve, which I'm about halfway done with it. It's only like 12 rows of twisted rib, and it's like, it's a knit 1 through the back loop, purl 2. So it's, yeah, not like a 1x1, it's a 1x2. And I think it looks really nice. It's really, really pretty, but it is just, that designer left a bad taste in my mouth. And like, I'm not going to name any names or what the name of the pattern is for this one. But just that was that was the experience, and that's why it's taken me so long to pick this back up again. But it's beautiful. It is beautiful. Look at that. And it's going to be a lot of positive ease, which is fine. Very drapey. I might wear it with like a skirt or something like that, or over a dress. So I'm really excited about that one. I was thinking about trying to finish it up today so I could be like, oh, finished object, but we all know that you have to block it for it to be considered a finished object, at least for sweaters, for me, so that it can just kind of get comfortable in its final form. I don't want to show it on here before it's blocked because it's going to look different after it's blocked. So that will be a finished object next time for sure. Really, really pretty. The yarn that I used for this is actually recycled from a sweater from Goodwill. So it is a cotton, I think the white part of it is cotton, and then the gray is like an acrylic. So it's kind of a fuzzy, it's like a fuzzy dark gray over a cotton. So really excited about that one, for that one to be done. So that's, I'm calling it the Traveler sweater. I forgot why I called it that. But that's just what it's called on Ravelry in my works in progress. So let's move on to the next one. Ooh, the next one is, I finally started it. I finally started the Misurina tee in my, look at this beautiful project bag. I also sometimes just use it as a purse. I got this from Goodwill, of course, because it's beautiful. So this is the Misurina tee. So y'all remember this yarn that I got for this project. Well, got it and then decided to do this project and then spun a bunch of yarn for it. So this is what I have so far. That's the back here. I think I cast this on Halloween and was watching Nightmare Before Christmas while working on this. So this is what we have so far. We've got this gradient going. We are to the medium gray right now. I know it looks really light in this lighting, but it's definitely a mid gray. Let's hold it up next to, yeah, so we're in the mid gray skein, and then we have the mid gray to white skein, and then we have the white skein left. I made the call to do short sleeves on this one because I don't think I'm gonna have enough to do the entire body, and I want it to be a full length body, not cropped like in the pattern. So I think where we're at right now, it's like right underneath my boobs. So we've got a good long way to go for the rest of the waist, and we've got this much to do it in. So I went ahead and did the sleeves on both sides. It's not as smooth of a gradient because I was trying to play around, balance the skein, because you've only got two ends. So you've got the beginning of the gradient and then the end of the gradient. And you've got, so we've got the black here. And then we've got, I think this section here is one skein, and then this here at the bottom is the next skein. So I was kind of taking some from the beginning of the dark skein, and then some from the beginning of the medium skein. So it's not super smooth, but I think it'll be okay in the grand scheme of things because you're mostly going to be looking at the body. So the sleeves are already done, and we just have the body to go. I am following, I think it's Kathy, her idea for the eyelets in it, because it's got every so many rows, it's got eyelets. And so I'm starting off with, I think it's 7 rows between eyelets, and then it increases by 1 row every repeat. So 7 rows between, 8 rows, 9 rows, 10 rows, like that all the way down. So at the bottom, you're going to have a pretty big section between eyelet rows. And I just thought that was a cool look. So yeah, I think this is going to be a good bit oversized, which is fine. And I loved the color work. I blasted through the color work. because I love color work. It's so much fun. And I just love these colors together. So initially I was actually planning on starting off with white and having the contrast of the white and the orange. But my friend Denise, when we were knitting together over coffee, she asked me, well, why aren't you starting with black with the orange and then working down to white? And I was like, well, I don't think it's going to contrast enough, the orange and the black, because it's got these purple and black spots in it. And so I didn't think that it would contrast well enough. But the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, yeah, I really don't want a white to black. I really think, yeah, a black to white would look a lot better. Black on top, white on bottom. So, yeah, I thought about it for a good while, and she convinced me to start off with the black on top and go down to the white. And I think I'm going to be a lot happier with that. So thank you, Denise. Appreciate it. So that's the Misurina tee. I'm trying to slow down on it because I started this on Halloween and we've already got this. So, like, chill out, you know? I love this yarn. I love knitting the Jacob. I love how it's working up. I love everything about this. This is beautiful color. I love the Tweety bits. I just love knitting with it. So I need to slow down because I want to enjoy this, and there's no rush to finish it except for that I want to wear it. But I don't want to fall into the trap of starting this channel and thinking that I have to have finished objects every single week to show people and working on stuff for the purpose of showing it off. I want to have projects to work on that I enjoy working on. It took me a good while to make this yarn, and I want to enjoy working on this yarn and not just try to get through it. So yeah, I'm gonna work on a couple other things, work on this just a little bit at a time and not go so hardcore like I did the first few days of Halloween and after. So this needs to be a mindful project. All right, and next on the list of whips are these Slow Morning Socks. I think that's what they're called. Yeah, by Wool & Sun. So these are made with Loops and Threads Cozy Wool Merino, which is basically a 50-50 of merino wool, superwash merino wool, and acrylic. And I tried Googling, like, how well does like a 50-50 merino acrylic work. Let me just go ahead and show these to you. So they're nice ribbed, you know, very, very basic, a short row heel, ribbed socks, like, you know, DK weight yarn, really pretty color. So I couldn't really find anything online about how well it holds up for socks, because I know a lot of sock yarns are merino and nylon. So how does a merino and acrylic work? So I'm doing a test run of this, and we're going to see how well it holds up in like the toes and the heels. And yeah, so I've got one done. I've got another one. You might recognize this yarn from my big works in progress video. That this was a dress that I was working on. What is this stuck on? Ooh. So it's in my works in progress video, and I was working on the icon dress, and it wasn't working out. So I took it out. And then, so I have a bunch of this yarn that I've got. Yeah, I've started on the second sock already. So that's another work in progress. And then the next one that we have is, oh, another Ragdoll Cynthia. So y'all have seen, where is she? Right here? Good old Ragdoll Cynthia here. Let me grab her. Look at her. Isn't she beautiful? I feel like she's the, almost the mascot of this channel. She likes to hang out. Look at her go. And now she's going to fall all over the place. So, right after I finished her, I started a couple of other ones, and I decided the other night to start working on one of them. Before we had, this is going to be the porcelain one. So this is made with like a cotton type yarn. And it's like a very, very light gray with blue and green in it. There we go. And to me, it just looks like porcelain, kind of. So it's got a very, like, porcelain automaton type of vibe. So last night, I made the legs, the bottom part of the legs and the top part of the legs. So we're going to put little beads in there. And they'll be able to bend, so we'll have all that. And I'm currently working on her torso. This is the bottom of it. So I'll just need to do the torso and then the head. And I think that's it for the body parts. And then I can sew it all together and make her some clothes, make her some hair, and she'll be done. So there's that one. There's another one in here of pink and grays. I found some gray yarn to go with it to match. So we have that one that we can do after this one. And I think that sums up all the works in progress that I've actively been working on. So let's move on to, let's talk about the acquisition I got real quick. Something I got from my birthday. My mom got me the Spinner's Book of Yarn Design. So we've got this. I got it out from the library a while back and loved. It's just, it covers how to spin. It covers all kinds of techniques to use to process the fiber, techniques to use to make different kinds of like singles and art yarns and all kinds of stuff. It has got so many different ways to spin yarn. So I think this will be my winter project, is working through that and trying a bunch of different types of yarn and just expanding my spinning repertoire. So really excited about that one, which leads us into spinning. What have I been spinning recently? So y'all remember this one. I think I showed it in the last video, of a braid that I spun up and then I plied it with a strand of, it was Romney and Shetland, I think. Was that this? No, that was for the other one. No, this is just plain Romney, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, let's see if you can see. There's one strand of the braid, one strand of Romney. So when I was done spinning this, I had a bunch of leftover Romney. And so I just had like cakes of it, just of single ply of Romney, just sitting around. And then I found an entire bobbin of Babydoll Southdown that I had spun up, and it was the silverier parts of Jimmy Buffett's fleece. So Jimmy Buffett, as he's gotten older, has started to silver out. And so instead of being pure black like he was, he has some spots that are a little bit more silver. So I'll separate those out, and I put it all onto a bobbin, spun it up. And so I just decided to combine the Romney of that with what I had spun up for that one. So we have these two here, and this is kind of a lighter version. So this is what I spun up before for the socks, and you can see how much darker this one is. This is the darker parts of the fleece, but it's from the same fleece. So it's the same Romney and the same Babydoll Southdown. It's just, yeah, different parts of the fleece. So really pretty. Maybe I might over dye this one because this one's pretty light in comparison, so it might pick up something, maybe. So I just have a lot of Romney Babydoll Southdown mixed fiber to make socks with, so I can make a bunch of them in the future. So got those off the bobbin. There's a lot of just random bits of spun up. Like I have this from when I was doing spinning demonstrations. This is an alpaca merino. And I just have a bunch of these these cakes, like 4 or 5 of them, of just this single ply that I need to ply with something, either on itself or with something else. So yeah, lots of stuff laying around. I've still got this half bobbin of Jacob that I need to put more Jacob on and ply on itself. And then I have random bits and bobs, like little tiny cakes of various singles that I'm thinking about doing into like a monster, what do you call it? A monster skein of yarn. So I just kind of want to like clear up my projects and finish a bunch of things up. So those are the plans for spinning for the next little bit. Clear everything off, just get rid of all the little bits and bobs, and then be able to work on the book that I have for the winter. And then another idea that I had was I recently saw, oh, where was it? Maybe it was a video that somebody did of the Flock Fiber Festival that just happened, or Rhinebeck or something. And I saw that somebody had hand spun embroidery thread. And that just really, it stuck out to me for some reason. And with my recent adventures with the Misurina tea and being able to spin a fingering weight yarn, I have all the confidence in the world now, and I think that I could spin thin enough to do embroidery thread. I don't know who I am. Like, who thinks, I don't know. So I'm going to try. I have this Romney here. It's white Romney. I've been using it for a bunch of things lately. It's got a nice good staple length on it. And it's a very sturdy and shiny fleece. So I think that the shininess and the length of the staple will help me be able to get a nice thin, like lace weight embroidery thread. Look at that. And I could go really, really, really tiny. So that's going to be one of my goals in the near future, is to try to spin some of this Romney as embroidery thread, really, really, really fine, and then dye it afterwards. So spin it up just the plain white, dye it after I've spun it, put it into little, I don't know, is it like 20 yards, 12 yards? Something. How much is usually an embroidery thread. So I thought that would be a lot of fun and a great test to see how thin I can really go, because embroidery thread has to be really, really thin. So that's a fun idea. Look at all that. I just washed it up, so we've got a bunch of nice locks here. A whole little tub of them. So fun project for that. And then I had a dyeing adventure. I tried natural dyeing. It failed horribly. So I did this really cool thing, and I forget what it's called, where you pretty much I got marigold flowers, and I took the whole marigold flower and put it on the yarn itself, and like wrapped it up in plastic wrap, and then steamed it for a while, and then I let it cool down, and then checked it, and it wasn't very strong, and so I steamed it again. And I think I understand where I messed up. So I soaked it first, which you're supposed to do, but I think I need a mordant to soak it in a mordant water first. So I have alum, and I think the next time I'm going to soak a skein in alum water, and that'll just help the dye stick to it better. And then I'll do the whole same thing of setting the flowers on top of it and rolling it up in the plastic wrap, steaming it, and hopefully I'll get a better print from that. Because the idea was to have like little flower prints, kind of like people do with fabric. I saw recently, I think it was on Instagram or something, that somebody did it on yarn, where they just put flowers and leaves and stuff like that. And so I have a marigold plant. It's about to freeze next week, and so I just want to take all the flowers that are on it currently and put it onto yarn. So you can see there's a little bit of yellow-ish, but it really didn't stick to it. I soaked it in vinegar water afterwards, which from some books I was reading after the fact to figure out what I did wrong, the vinegar bath is for afterwards to kind of like balance the pH. So yeah, we have a little bit, but it's not what I was hoping for. This is just some Hampshire that I got from the Armstrong farm last year when they did a shearing event. And so it's not, there we go, see? It's not a really like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this yarn anyway, and it was a full white fleece. So I might just take the skeins that I've done so far and just experiment with them. But yeah, interesting idea that I want to try again. I've never been good at natural dyeing, like with plants and that sort of thing, but that's always been like a lower tier goal. It's not as high as some other goals, but it's always been there as something I would like to learn how to do. So we're going to experiment with that a little bit more, probably this weekend, and I'll let y'all know how it goes. And I think that is it for everything. I'll show you, I'll send you a little, look at this guy. Look how angry he is. This is, somebody did a request for Peter Steele from Typo Negative, the band. And so he still needs his hair straightened because his hair is wild right now. But look at that face. He's so mad. I love it. So that's all I have for you guys this week. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you in the next video.